The trial has indeed now formally begun in the court building behind me, a little more than 2 months after one of South Korea's worst peacetime tragedies. We understand they've begun with some pretty technical evidence about the structure of the stricken ship, relating of course to the suggestion that it may have had legal modifications made to it that added to its instability. But in the pre-trial hearing this morning, the prosecution were keen to move on quickly to the video from the scene of the sinking, those harrowing images showing the last moments as the ship went down in calm seas, in full view of the Coast Guard. Was part of that footage showing the captain, Joon-sok, climbing over the railings into the Coast Guard boats after allegedly having told his passengers to stay in their cabins. The defence suggested that those images are so incendiary and so damning to their case it would be unfair to show them this afternoon, but we'll learn of course in the next few minutes and hours as to whether or not the judges have indeed decided to proceed with that video testimony.
And of course it's video testimony like that, images like that, which are going to really distress the families who have lost loved ones even more.
That's right. There are some 60 or so family members here in the courtroom watching proceedings. The atmosphere has been a little calmer than it was during some of the pre-trial sessions. There have been a couple of outbursts today, but as well as their keenness in seeing justice done and seeing people held for account, there are also concerns about the fairness of this trial, the difficulty that the defendants have had even in finding lawyers to represent them, the widespread assumption in the South Korean media of their guilt, and of course question marks over that charge of murder, the suggestion that it is a very unusual and stringent charge to pin in a maritime disaster of this kind. The prosecution say they will make it stick because the actions of the crew were so grossly negligent that they should have known they would lead to large loss of life. But it looks like, from the captain's lawyer at least, he will attempt to defend himself against that charge because he says there was no intent to kill.